Just finally,
given
in the wake of that massacre of Israelis on October the 7th, what to you would be a proportionate and reasonable response from the Israeli armed forces to that massacre of their nationals? What would be, you think, reasonable?
I didn't get your question. Can you say that again?
Given the massacre of 1,400 people, Israelis, women, children, the taking of hostages, 199 hostages, all of the horrific atrocities involved in that massacre by Hamas, what do you believe, as a Palestinian journalist living in Gaza City, what would be a proportionate and reasonable response from the Israelis to that?
You know what is the saddest thing here is that
we only hear, please.
You know, we only hear the mainstream media or the media in the West.
No, please, Wafa, please answer my question. What you're saying that the response of the Israelis right now is unacceptable. You're calling it a massacre. What would be a reasonable response?
It's ethnic cleansing.
Okay, so what would be a reasonable response?
You know, like we have been suffering, have been subjected to the Israeli occupation of brutality and oppression since nearly 75
so what
years.
Would be a reasonable response?
And even we have 5,000 Palestinians are still in the Israeli occupation jails. We have 170 Palestinian kids that are still in the Israeli jails. We have nearly 40 Palestinian women inside the Israeli jails.
Wafa, you're a journalist. You're a journalist.
Yeah.
I'm a journalist. I'm asking you, from the perspective as a Palestinian woman living in Gaza City, what would be, if you think the Israeli response is unreasonable, disproportionate, it's wrong, what would be the right, proportionate, reasonable response to 1,400 of your people being massacred? What would be acceptable to you for them to do, other than say, oh well, never mind, we'll just carry on as usual, which is clearly not going to happen. One final chance, what would be the reasonable response?
Yeah, you are just saying that we are journalists, and I'm a Palestinian journalist, yes, living here under this harsh condition.
You're just not going to answer. Do you not think that's a reasonable question to ask you?
Listen, it's the question. I mean, like, you didn't know that they committed, like, since we here in Gaza since nearly 17 years.
I do know that.
We have been the Israel.
Stop telling me what I don't know and answer the question.
Yes.
Why is that such a difficult question to answer?
Sorry, I'm answering your questions here because, you know, you just look to the Israeli side and you
I'm not looking at just the Israeli side.
What is happening.
I'm asking you a reasonable question. What's a proportionate, reasonable response to that massacre?
You know, like, listen, I'm just reporting what I see as a journalist from here, from Gaza. I saw that the Palestinian people are suffering in a daily basis because of the Israeli brutality against them. The occupation.
And because of Hamas's brutality.
Listen, the Israeli occupation, they are using phosphorus bombs. Do you know that? They are using
I asked an Israeli person about that only last week.
Yeah, they are using internationally banned weapons.
Again, still not an answer to my question. Should we give up? Should we just give up? You're not going to answer the question. We'll have to leave it.
It's a collective punishment. What is happening here is a
collective punishment. So what would be the correct response?
But look at the very beginning when who started this? We were living, like, I'm a Palestinian refugee. I used to live in.
Okay. I'm going to interrupt you. I'm going to leave it there. Because if any conversation in this, it ends up going back to, let's go back 1,000 years. Wafa al-Udaini. Wafa, I'm so sorry. It took a long time to get you on the line. We're waiting to speak to you. We've got less time. If you're not going to answer my question, then we'll have to leave it. I do appreciate you joining us. Thank you.